Hello everyone out there in IICT2. It is Matt Arnold talking about the challenges associated with the app or support or tech that I chose to use for specifically my CLN 4U Canadian and International Law class. So the challenges that I identified early on in the planning for this course were engagement and meeting the requirements of the class versus the compressed timeline of a quadmester system. So by engagement, I mean fatigue among students. And for myself, the students that I had in my class chose to do face-to-face instruction, and I had to try to find some sort of other way to make this learning matter to them on a platform that they hadn't chosen for themselves. So engagement was a key for myself in the process and in the learning and the engagement of the students who were expecting a face-to-face class. The second challenge that I talked about was the time constraints. The time constraints and the sheer amount of content that forced me to pare down content while trying to meet the expectations of legal thinking skills and concentrating on those as the centerpiece of the course, and also 21st century competencies. So the rest of the video I'm going to focus on those two, balancing the focus in between those two. So for engagement, I knew that YouTube was a commonly known and commonly used platform or app. So in that, students could access it, it was accessible, and also the content for educating oneself about YouTube is free and available and accessible for all as well. Plus the courses themselves, for someone like me as an instructor who's trying to focus on the skills and the legal thinking skills, it was easy for me to go into the Creator Academy and find specific courses that were already created for the students and then make a connection to Canadian and international law on top of that. So that content was already created for me, which is great. And secondly, for engaging the students and making this learning matter, I was piggybacking upon the YouTube Creators for Change page, the YouTube Creators for Change, and having the students create their own videos that would help move toward change. Now, to find a common thread throughout the course that would make students force them to make connections throughout the course was to base the learning, the essential question for the course upon the Sustainable Development Goals that Canada has committed to through the UN, and also to consistently ask themselves if the Canadian legal system meets the expectations of fundamental justice while performing under those goals, under the expectations of those goals. So how did this exactly address 21st century competencies? Well, for one, in the creativity side of 21st century competencies, students had a wealth of opportunities to be creators. So we talked in the class about author's purpose, we talked about story building, we talked about taking photos, acting, and also video editing. So for different learning abilities and learning styles within the class, there are many opportunities for students to be creative. If we're looking at the critical thinking side of 21st century skills, it was students learning how to be effective and professional creators, and at the same time being critically thinking consumers. So why am I using this app? What am I getting from it? And what is it taking from me, specifically in terms of data and such? For 21st century collaboration, we focused really heavily on Google Chat and the use of Google Chat and Google Workspace to share files, to collaborate on documents, and so on. Students also use the apps like Google Slideshow and Google Drawings to do storyboard planning and such. But that's enough about that. So as I said before, the development of the video and the building of information for the video took place through the entire quadmester. And you can see here that there was time allotted for that. So we started by being critical of the Creators for Change videos that were already posted, and just to see what a common theme of story planning for those specific videos were. And then worked to co-create success criteria as we went along. So we were able to focus on the process and work that process into each summative for each unit as well, with a focus and a revisiting of different videos from YouTube that we analyzed for effectiveness throughout the course that were tied to course content. So for instance, we looked at accessibility and equality under the law, and we focused upon a video that the government created about National Accessibility Week, and looked at if it was effective or not and why. So another interesting look into design and the why a video is posted and how can it be better, and then how can they apply that to their own videos. So hopefully at the end of this, I'll be able to post videos and show you folks some videos that students have posted on my channel, my own YouTube channel, where students are going to have the opportunity to do some self and peer evaluation of other people's videos. But also, once those videos are posted, they will be on there for the life of YouTube. And students have the opportunity to also upload those videos to their own channels, which gives them the ability to begin to curate their online profile. So if they're heading off to university, if they're heading off to the workplace, they are starting to build a positive online profile that demonstrates them to be a critical consumer and an analytical thinker and an involved citizen, as far as being critical of Canada's performance under UN Sustainable Development Goals. But it also encourages the students to look for a reason to continue to learn about a certain issue and become an active citizen then. And the last slide of any effective video that is posted on YouTube Creators for Change is a call to action. So knowing that is the final part. All right, thanks so much. If you have any questions about this, please let me know, and I will talk to you all very soon.